Life is a winding road.
Okay, what an adventure. Oh my. So, we're day 12. And I'll say it's been stressful. I'm a nervous driver. I didn't expect it to be so nerve-wracking. But I have to say, taking 99 south instead of I-5 south was a huge mistake. Huge mistake. 99 is in horrible shape. Horrible shape. And they have different stretches set up for construction, but nobody's constructing. But the cement barriers are up, squishing the lanes down, no shoulder. And I didn't like those when I was pulling horses. And I still don't like those. I mean, just any slight wiggle is going to put you in another lane or into cement walls. So for me, those are white knuckle driving. But what makes it even worse is the road is so bad. I mean, we're talking potholes, major potholes. We're talking long, continuous ruts. Or we're talking they've patched part of it, but there's a big dip to the other part, and half of your lane is in different levels. Oh. And then, to make it worse, the rest areas here are like 100 miles apart. Nothing like Washington and Oregon. And so far, they've been closed. And yesterday, I was like panicking as where am I going to be able to... I couldn't even take a break, much less park. But I ended up taking a break because the dogs were frantic to go potty. And I saw a bunch of... truckers are my best friend right now. I saw a bunch of truckers off this one exit in a little town called Pixley, and they were all just parked along the shoulder of the road. There was a wide shoulder, and they were just pulled off. So I pulled off on Pixley so that I could just park with the truckers. But when I took the dogs out, there was like area and then railroad tracks. So I thought I had a good area to take the dogs out to potty, but when we actually got out, it was full of garbage and broken glass everywhere, just shattered broken glass everywhere. There's no way I wanted the dogs walking on that. So we were sticking to like a very small edge that I would let them go on. And they had a little bit of issues, and then there were rats because there was so much garbage, and then Echo wanted to bolt and kill rats, and of course I didn't let her. So we eventually got our pottying done. Well, RJ didn't. RJ usually holds it for 2 or 3 stops because he seems nervous about still going on the leash, going potty on the leash. So he holds it and holds it and holds it until it's time for him to pee a river. My sweet boy. So I put the dogs back in the bus, and we were still, I know, baby, I know. And then we were going to put, I needed to take a break. It was stressful. I had no idea where I was going to be able to stop and stay for the night. And so we were just going to take a half-hour break, hang out, which we did. But once I got the dogs back in the bus, here comes 3 stray dogs walking along the track, scrounging through the garbage to get something to eat. I felt so bad for them, but I was glad we were in the bus and I wasn't about to go out and rescue anybody. So 2 of them looked like they were like Great White Pyrenees. I mean, they were pretty dogs other than the fact that they were too skinny. And then another one looked like a German Shepherd type cross, very skinny. So I didn't know what I was going to do, but I got back on the road, And yeah, I stopped at probably the trashiest little town I could stop at. And then a little bit further down the road, I saw in the distance off the freeway a Walmart sign. And I was just like, I'm there. And I went to the Walmart, a great Walmart. Had a huge parking lot, bigger than one I've ever seen. And a lot of the parking lot, customers aren't going to use because it's too far to walk, and they've got plenty of closer parking. So I parked. There was 2 vans and an RV there when I parked, but we were all way far. I mean, the lot was so big that we didn't have to park by each other. But I still went into Walmart to make sure I had permission to park there, because last thing I want is a knock on the door in the middle of the night and being forced to move in the dark, and my night vision sucks right now. My age has deleted my night vision a lot. So I was so relieved, and I felt so safe. It was well lit. Never been so happy to be at a Walmart. But then, even at Walmart, I saw a couple of stray dogs scrounging around looking for some garbage or something to eat. But what was really cool, I mean, it wasn't cool for the critter, but it was cool for me to see. I was looking and I thought I saw another dog, but then it started walking and I realized it was a cat, and it was huge. Huge. It was one of those coon cats. Felt sorry for it because it was obviously a stray, but it's the first stray critter that I saw that didn't look skinny. This coon cat obviously could take care of itself. It was very cool looking. Anyway, so back on the road today. Now, I was so exhausted from the day before, and today I realized that I was only going to be going about 80 miles or so to a Love's truck stop, which is where I'm parked right now. And I got here at 11, and I decided to stay early and have just a day off to relax, unwind, shake off some of the stress. You know, my stress, the dogs are picking up on my stress, and I feel so bad for them because they are stressed out. The whole time we're driving, RJ's drooling. That's his stress drool. Drooling and stress panting, both dogs. But RJ's drooling like puddles. I feel like he's dehydrating himself. So I've got to calm it down, but I guess the only way for me to calm it down is to keep it slow. And so today was an easy drive day. I only drove for like 2 hours, and I was much more comfortable. But I was starting to get stressed because, okay, I'm finally off of Highway 99, thank God. Also on Highway 99, the one the one truck stop that I stopped at didn't allow RVs to park there because they didn't have enough spots, so all their spots were for truckers. So that I'm like, oh great, can't stop there. And then another one that I pulled into had a sign that was $30 for parking. No hookups, no nothing, just $30 to park in a spot like I'm parked in now. And I didn't want to do that. I mean, when I pay for a parking spot, I at least expect to have power so I can recharge everything. So I'm getting a little something back for my money. But when the rolling hills going east on 58, they aren't bad. You know, it's nothing like the passes, and Norma Jean can handle it, no problem. The issue was the wind was starting to whip me around a little bit. And as I kept going, it was getting worse. And then I rounded this one corner to all the big windmills. So, of course, it's a windy section. So, for sure, I knew I'm staying put here for now, today. I'll be taking off again tomorrow. But I checked the weather, and the reason I was feeling insecure and getting blown around today in the winds is it was 19-mile-an-hour winds. No, it was 14-mile-an-hour winds with 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So yeah, it was whipping me pretty good. And I looked it up, and tomorrow I looked up for my path, and it's 7-mile-an-hour winds with 14-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So I think that'll be more doable. And I'm pretty sure I'm almost out of the foothills. I mean, it looks to me like I'm almost out of the foothills. So, but the trees are, when I finally got parked here and saw how much the trees were blowing, I realized, okay, you have an excuse to be a little bit stressed about that. The wind really whips the bus around. So, it's been an experience. Did I say I'm on day 12 now? Glad to be off Highway 99. Though I have no idea what the rest of 58 is going to be. At least it hasn't had construction barrier things up. And I go from here to Highway 40. And I have no idea what that highway is like. I guess that's maybe part of the stress, is not knowing what's coming up. Especially not knowing, well, actually knowing that rest stops aren't available, and maybe all truck stops aren't available. And I don't just want to park on the side of the road somewhere. So I'm going to start, once I start getting close to where I want to park, if I think I'm okay, my miles, I'm about done, and I don't have a, you know, what the rest stop I planned on might be closed, I will just pull over somewhere and Google Walmarts near me and hope that there's a Walmart around. So I feel sort of like I'm a chicken shit, you know. I didn't expect to be this nervous about driving the bus, but then I had to think about the fact that I've driven my bus, but a very short span on a good freeway, but mostly I've just driven to get the tires done, driven to mechanics, and driven from my sister's to Jetty's. So I really don't have miles under my belt, and now I've thrown myself into stressful freeway driving on crappy roads, but we're getting there. I mean, it's an adventure. I guess I feel the worst for the poor dogs. The dogs are stressed. And as soon as I park somewhere and start unstrapping stuff, you know, and putting, you know, bringing out, you know, necessities, RJ climbs up on the bed and he crashes and he's snoring, you know. Echo is exhausted. They're both exhausted. So we all deserved a break today of doing basically nothing. We aren't traveling. Well, I mean, we traveled a couple hours, but we didn't cover a lot of ground. I'm so glad I allowed myself almost 3 weeks to do a 24-hour drive according to Google, because it's day 12 and I've still got, I bet you, an easy 400 plus miles to go. So you know, and I wasn't even as stressed when I was pulling horses, but I wasn't driving on crappy freeways, and I wasn't driving a lot of freeways. It was more winding around out to the Tules to trailheads. So I really haven't done anything like this before. I mean, I thought because I had the hauling horses behind me that this would be a piece of cake. It's not a piece of cake. It's like swallowing liver. Yeah. But we're safe and sound. We're going slow, but we're getting there. Today today the highway wasn't that bad, and Norma Jean does so good going up the grades and everything that I was a little more relaxed, though I still say I'm gripping the steering wheel too hard and I don't take my hands off the steering wheel. Today, though, I didn't develop a sore jaw, and anytime after about an hour and a half, I'm getting the major kink in my neck, but that's alleviated if I can just pull over and take a break for a half an hour, and then I'm good to go with the kink in the neck again for another hour and a half. Unless it was the real stressful yesterday, it was just a solid kink in my neck. But today was a little smoother, but I think it's because I knew, hey, the winds are getting strong, my truck stop is coming up, it was just supposed to be for a break, but I decided, nope, it's for the night. And so that's what we got to do to keep my nerves. After some of the some of the days when I stop, my hands are sort of trembling for a half hour or so after I've stopped. It's like it takes me a little bit to wind down. So you can imagine how stressed the poor dogs are. They pick up on our vibes. These two are tuned into me and what I'm feeling. And when I'm feeling confident and normal, the dogs accept me as their leader. But now that I'm sort of rattled, Echo thinks she needs to protect us, me and RJ. She knows he needs her to protect him too. She thinks she needs to protect us from everything. From vehicles to people to dogs to trees that are blowing too hard to even birds flying. I mean, she's totally in protect mode, and that's stressful for her. It's stressful for a dog to have to be that protective. That's not a happy, content, relaxed dog. That's a dog that's she's freaking out at everything as much as traffic and stuff freaks me out sometimes. Truckers are my best friend. When some truckers don't pay attention to the speed limit, even though they're supposed to be going 55, they're still going 65 and 70. But some truckers obey that speed limit, and I'm always happy when I come across one and I can just tuck behind them and follow at 55, because then I don't feel like I'm holding up traffic. And you got to get past that. I do know that it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. I am not going to let them push me to go faster than I'm comfortable at that time. In different road situations, sometimes I'm comfortable at 60. Sometimes I'm only comfortable at 55. Sometimes 50 is my comfort zone, especially for Norma Jean when we're going over these horrible roads. I mean, at least when you're on a country road or a dirt road that's bad, you can go slow and sort of weave around certain spots. But on the freeway, man, I'm stuck going through that crap. And Norma Jean's just rattling and shaking. And I just feel like I'm beating her up. So, but we're doing good. I'm east of Bakersfield on Highway 58. And, I still think I'm like probably 4 to 5 days out of Betty's. So I was smart to give myself 3 weeks because it's taken me that long. I also realized that just doubling what Google's time, I'm a little bit behind that. I can see how long Google says it's going to take me to make a stretch. But it takes me a little more than double to do that stretch. So, 100 miles is an easy 2.5 hour drive for me. And 3 hours is about the max that I want to drive. Sometimes, depending on the road conditions, 2 is all I really want to do. So, that's where we're at. We're on, and I don't want you to think I'm just whining. It's an adventure, but I look forward to after Betty's when I'm traveling, to not feel obligated to try and get 200 miles out of my drive, and being able to go somewhere and actually hang for a week or two, and then travel again. Because I'm telling you, when it's time to batten down the hatches and get everything ready to travel, by the time I'm sitting in the driver's seat, the butterflies are fluttering. It's like, okay, and then I'm just telling, chill, Cat, chill. Just chill out. It's not that big a deal. But my hands go into the death grip, and I'm tense. I'm sure it will get better, you know. It's just that I'm pushing myself right now. I mean, it might not seem like it because I seem to be going so slow, but I'm pushing myself. And it wouldn't be so bad if I had, you know, like when I took a 3-day break in Grants Pass, you know, if I could take a 3-day break, it would be a little better. But it is what it is. But we're making it. We're getting there. And just wanted to keep you updated. And I may be a chicken shit, but that means I'm brave, because you can't be brave if you don't have fear preceding it. So I'm a brave little traveler. Also, all our appetites are down. When I'm stressed, I can't eat very much, or my stomach gets upset. And it seems to be the same. It's good girl, Echo. Good, no barking. Good girl. Good girl. She's looking at a dog out the window and didn't go off into fierce barking. Good girl. Good, no barking. I'm so proud of you. Good girl. Good girl. I'm so proud of you. Good girl. When I was at Walmart, I did stop to pick up some supplies. And one of Echo's ways of showing stress is she needs, or to relieving her stress, is either play fetch or chew or lick. So at Walmart, I got her a new little chew toy, and that seems that she sits and just chew, 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 chews. So we're dealing with it. We're getting there. She's knocking stuff off the closet because she's getting on top of my closet where she's not supposed to get. But you know what? Right now, I can't give her a hard time because she's being so good watching this dog outside the bus and not making a sound. Woohoo! So we're going to end this video on that great note. And I'll check in with you again when I can. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.